Dr. Guthrie, being that you have just had a baby, I can't believe it, can you please share how can runners get back into movement safely after having a baby?
Okay. Well, he's 8 months old, so I've had some time to recover. But it's a good question because I think in the first few months postpartum, you're like, I can't even imagine like exercising with how tired you are and just all the bodily changes, emotional changes. But I think the best advice someone told me was, listen to your body, take it slow, do something that you know. So, if you're a casual runner, don't try to run marathons after having a baby. That's just not realistic. So go back to something that you do, like running, yoga, cycling, anything that you did before. And I think best thing, just from personal experience, is just to listen to your body. Don't push yourself beyond what you think you can do. And also, I think listen to your body nutritionally too. Like your body has a lot of different demands if you're nursing. Just making sure you're keeping up with your calorie intake and your hydration intake. I think that's really important too. And don't get frustrated with yourself if you're not, meeting your weight loss goals or the time that you want to be active per day, just because you have to balance being a mom, body changing and trying to get back into exercise.
Yeah, I'll piggyback a little bit. I really like that the question includes movement because I think that's a really broad category and that's how we should kind of think about getting our body back into movement after having a baby. For any other type of, and I don't really like to call birth an injury, but it is a major body change, and there can be some injuries that happen with childbirth. And so with that, you want to think about how you would rehab for anything else. If you had knee surgery, if you had hip surgery, you would go through a pretty dedicated rehabilitation program before jumping back into your usual activity. And we really consider the first year after having a baby to be a time where you're really kind of still adapting to what life is like after childbirth. So that's a lot more patience than I think society wants us to give our bodies and to kind of expect us to bounce back. I dislike that term. But so I think that is the first thing is you kind of have to deconstruct what maybe external messages are telling you and acknowledge that you really need some time before you're going to be able to jump into activity as it was before pregnancy and before birth. The other thing about it is that everyone's birth is very different. If you had a C-section, if you had a large tear with your delivery, or even if you had what some might consider kind of a normal healthy delivery with minimal complications, your body has still been through a lot, including your core, low back. They had a long time of having a pregnant uterus in there, and so they are going to take some time to kind of get back to where they were. And things may never be exactly the same, but your level of function can certainly get back to where you were before. It just takes a lot of listening to your body, going slow, and doing something that's gentle first. One of the easiest ways we kind of understand is sort of a marker of like where is someone at in their postpartum recovery is how is walking going? Is that aggravating anything? Can you walk for 30 minutes and not have anything noticing in your pelvic floor, your hips, your low back, your abdomen? Is there any pain there? So seems like a low bar, but especially in those first couple of months after having a baby, that's a kind of a good, useful benchmarker to say, am I able to get out of the house? Am I able to walk? Am I able to do that for 30 minutes? And kind of where am I at? How am I feeling? And then you can kind of, depending on what your activity of choice, if that's intense endurance running or other intense levels of activity, I think really talking with your OBGYN and possibly a pelvic floor physical therapist to make sure that everything is in line and ready to kind of take the next step towards gradually getting up to that level of intensity.
And I think having a baby, it's not just the physiological changes and impact on your body. It's now, I believe you're all pretty much type A individuals, so probably before having that baby, you had a schedule. You would get up, you would exercise, you would go to work. Now everything's upended. So Erica, talk a little bit about, how can we be kind to ourselves now all of this is changing?
That's a good question. I was thinking about what you ladies were saying too about the postpartum. I think it's really important for women to continue what they're doing throughout pregnancy. It goes with the same motto of the night before the race, not to eat anything new. During pregnancy, we want to maintain what it is that we're already doing. So if we're running, we can run. If we're walking, if we're doing yoga, if we're doing Pilates, we can do those things as long as it's under the guidance of a physician or a midwife, and our bodies feel okay. That's the most important thing, is do we feel okay doing these things? Maintaining that lifestyle beforehand, with a new baby or babies, I've had 2 babies and my life is definitely different. I would say it's a gradual process as well. And because, female athletes and, continuous exercisers, we have this tough mentality of, we've got to do it this way. We've got to stick to the routine. We've got to be regimented. I've got to get my 10,000 steps in today. And that becomes really challenging during those times, especially with an 8-month-old. I've got a teen. Things are just a little bit different now. So I say find something that you can do on a regular basis that makes you feel good. If that's, not going for a run, but if that's taking a walk instead, you're still getting movement, you're still releasing endorphins, you're still doing something for yourself. I think it's important that women take that time and opportunity to do things for themselves during a period of time when it's not about us. It's about other people for the majority of our lives. Taking that 5 to 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is, to go to the doctor, to talk to a nutritionist, to sit down and hydrate. Finding that balance in our daily lives is really imperative if we want to continue to grow and prosper as women.
Very good. Thank you.
With that, just to kind of, again, that gradual process, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, there's no actual kind of exact moment. There's no 4-week, 6-week, 12-week kind of mark where movement's all of a sudden okay. It's kind of as soon as you feel okay and what feels okay for your body. And so that can be even pretty soon after birth if that's something that has been a part of your regular practice. So you don't want to limit yourself either. You just really want to listen and kind of do what is supporting you.